Musk says steps to stop Russia from using Starlink seem to have worked. India hikes defense budget by 15%. Zelensky says Ukraine getting ready for new peace talks next week. UK immigration officers in court charged with stealing cash from small boat migrants. New Epstein accuser claims sexual encounter with ex-Prince Andrew. Report. Elon Musk said on Sunday that measures taken by SpaceX to prevent the unauthorized use of its Starlink satellite internet system by Russia appear to be effective. In a post on X, Musk said SpaceX had acted to stop Starlink from being used without permission, and added that further steps could be taken if necessary. The comments followed concerns raised by Ukraine that Russian forces were using Starlink to guide long-range drones. Ukraine's defense minister Mikhailo Fedorov said Kyiv was working with SpaceX to block any Russian access to the system. Fedorov said Western technology should support democratic countries and protect civilians, not be used to carry out attacks or destroy cities. Despite tensions in the past between Musk and Ukrainian officials over his views on the war, Ukraine's military continues to rely heavily on Starlink. Tens of thousands of the terminals are used for battlefield communications and for operating some drone missions. Starlink has given Musk significant geopolitical influence. In 2022, he acknowledged restricting how and where the system could be used by Ukrainian forces during the conflict with Russia. India has raised its defense budget by 15% to 7.84 lakh rupees crore for the 2026-27 financial year, signaling a major push to modernize its armed forces through new procurement programs. The increase marks a sharp rise from 6.81 lakh rupees crore allocated in 2025-26. The higher spending will support planned purchases including Rafale fighter jets, submarines and unmanned aerial vehicles. A key focus of the new budget is modernization. The armed forces will receive 2.19 lakh rupees crore under the capital expenditure head, an increase of nearly 22% from the previous year. This funding is aimed at upgrading equipment and boosting combat readiness. Within the capital budget, 733 crore has been set aside for aircraft and aero engines, while 25.023 crore has been allocated for strengthening India's naval fleet. Presenting the budget in Parliament, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also announced a customs duty exemption on imported raw materials used to manufacture aircraft parts for maintenance, repair, and overhaul activities. The move is intended to support domestic defense manufacturing and reduce costs for the sector. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Saturday that Ukraine is awaiting further details from the United States on upcoming peace talks and expects new meetings to take place next week. In his nightly video address, Zelensky indicated that a meeting previously expected to be held on Sunday in the United Arab Emirates between representatives of Ukraine, Russia, and the United States was unlikely to go ahead. The three sides last held talks a week earlier. Zelensky said Kyiv remains in constant contact with Washington and is ready to participate in any effective negotiation format, stressing that talks must deliver concrete results. He said Ukraine is preparing for meetings expected in the coming days. The United States continues to lead diplomatic efforts to end the war, now nearing its fourth year since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff held talks in Florida on Saturday, with Kremlin envoy Kirill Dmitriev, describing the discussions as productive. Witkoff has said territorial issues are central to the negotiations, though Ukraine has rejected Russia's demand that it cede the entire Donbas region, including areas not under Russian control. Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said this week that territory is not the only unresolved issue, without providing further details. 5 British immigration officers have appeared in court, charged with misconduct in public office and conspiracy to steal from migrants who arrived in the UK on small boats. The defendants, John Bernthal, Ben Edwardes, Leanne Evanson, Besmir Matera, and Jack Mitchell, are accused of stealing cash from migrants between August 2021 and November 2022. All 5 also face charges of money laundering. Prosecutors told Westminster Magistrates Court that the officers were stationed on Britain's south coast, where they handled migrants arriving by small boats across the English Channel. Many migrants carried significant amounts of cash, which prosecutors say the officers took and shared among themselves. A sixth defendant, David Grundy, is charged separately with one count of money laundering. One of the officers, Besmir Matera, faces additional charges, including entering or remaining in the UK by deception and possessing false identity documents. Prosecutors said he applied for asylum in 2003 claiming to be from Kosovo, but later investigations found he was from Albania and had entered the UK on a school trip. A second woman has accused late U.S. financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein of arranging a sexual encounter for her with Britain's former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, according to a report by the BBC. A U.S. lawyer representing the woman said the alleged encounter took place in 2010 at Prince Andrew's residence on the Windsor estate when she was in her 20s. The lawyer said Epstein had sent her to Britain for the encounter. The allegation emerged after the U.S. Justice Department released a large new set of documents related to the Epstein case. The files include photographs showing Andrew kneeling over a woman lying on the floor, with her identity redacted. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said Prince Andrew should comply with any request to testify before the US Congress about Epstein's crimes. The woman's lawyer, Brad Edwards, said there were communications between his client and Andrew before the alleged encounter. He added that after spending the night with Andrew, the woman said she was given a tour of Buckingham Palace.